We are ready for the finals. We have Akatu versus Hepta. 3, 2, 1. Tetris.
Tetris.
I will work on making that a little bit bigger here.
All right, and we're up and running. See, this is what happens when you get two players suddenly competing from the same household with one computer and one interceptor. But, you know, we make it work.
So this match will determine who is the true Finn and who's only Finn-ish.
Terrible.
Right. And the first Tetris coming down for Hepta. Fans of Game Boy Tetris may be familiar with that iridescence of the Game Boy Color screen as the light hits it from an angle. It's, you know, now we use interceptors all the time, but that's a very classic image.
Yeah, this is how we started our very first Discord tournaments through Game Boy Tetris. Just I duct tape a cell phone to my ceiling and just hope that it doesn't fall on my head.
You know a rig's good when duct tape is involved.
Yes. Never failed. We've got a pretty close game out the border here. So we got a Tetris coming up. Looks like 39,000 on Akatu's side and 33,000 on Hepta's side. But as I say that, he fires back with the Tetris 45,000.
Pretty close in lines too.
Mm-hmm. Akatu getting a bit of a mix-up here, blocking off his board. Well, or no, Hepta blocking off his board, sorry. They keep switching positions when they're battling other players, so it makes me up. But yeah, overall, pretty close game, pretty clean play from both players. Getting Tetrises. They have a pretty similar play style. I haven't seen them both go toe-to-toe in the higher speeds, but I'm sure to be an exciting matchup here. Looks like we got 51,000 for Akatu to Hepta's slight lead 59,000. Once again, Akatu firing back. I'm up to 63,000. There from Hepta. Nice tuck there from Akatu.
Akatu waiting on that bar. Nice, clean tie game so far. Hepta dealing with that hole in the stack, but you know, sometimes you have to take a hole in the stack to play safely. It can be a little scary, but you know, if you're a good player, you know when to do that.
Creates a long bar dependency, but had to clear it out somehow.
Yes, but you know, when the bar comes in now, so
just a reminder, this is the finals match for our third annual CTWC GB, which is the World Championship for Game Boy Tetris. We have our Discord link in the chat and in the bottom right hand of the screen. So if you want to play with these players and many other top professionals get better at Game Boy Tetris, that's the place to do it.
Akatu surpassing 100,000 points here. A bit of a misdrop on that O block, but shouldn't affect him too much here at the speed that they're playing at right now. Hepta, meanwhile, at 89,000 points.
Now, this might just be a hunch, but I do have a strong feeling that Finland might take this championship.
I don't know. What makes you say that, Andrew?
Just these play styles. I mean, Finland really has the edge on this one.
Yeah, I think
I'm
that
rooting for
finished
Germany.
Man, Kriska's already on his third beer, I'm sure. That ship has sailed, my friend.
Yeah, we just saw Germany's hopes swept by Hepta.
Not so much that, it's just it came down to strategy at the end of the day. It's not that Hepta didn't play an amazing game, but we've definitely seen Kriska more his prime in previous competitions, but it was a real upset with this one, because I know he was really gunning for it.
Yeah, one has to wonder too if competition experience is an issue, because while your Kriska is definitely experienced in competition, he hasn't been playing as regularly in our competitive scene, whereas Akatu and Hepta, both active in Game Boy competitions and in NES.
Yeah, the competitive strategy really falls into play. That's why we always stress it really can be anybody's game, depending on what your strategy is, what your improvisation is, and your accommodation is. You can take this game and this tournament if you have that all down pat.
Many other Asians fall into it as well, I'm sure.
Oh, of course.
Hepta at 82 lines, 141,000 points. Akatu at 66 lines, 141,000 points. So Akatu with a slight edge here.
Also 16 lines in between the two of them.
A bunch of Barabara Bastus in the chat saying, get to the sauna. Or the sauna.
Sauna.
Sauna. I
I
can't
don't know.
do it.
I am not Finnish.
I am way too Canadian for that. Sauna. I don't know. Just say sauna.
All right, Hepta about to transition. Hepta having a bit of a struggle game as far as pace goes. Like, it's definitely not like far enough behind to be guaranteed to cause issues, but it's not where they want to be.
A bit of a lead here. Akatu 177,000 to Hepta's 169. Big line differential right now, but that could easily change as Hepta goes into transition at this point with 181,000. Not ideal, but not the worst either. Definitely want to see it a lot higher for the finals, but
yeah, it's like a Nelly level transition.
Yeah. Suna. That.
Hepta passed the 200,000 mark at what looks like 80 some lines.
Yeah, DLB in the chat's saying it might be the slowest finals ever, but yeah, it's we know with these two players, when it gets into the level 20 speeds, look out, because they're no joke. We've seen what these players bring to the table, and it's nothing to scoff at. Now, I'm a little remiss, as much as I'm happy that Finland's going to win this one. I was kind of remiss that MJ couldn't take it from before, seeing as he's played in literally every competition since our inception.
Yeah, MJ really has been just a constant in our Discord and in our competitions.
Yep.
Just a great guy to have around. Sad to see him not in the finals. He's saying he's good. His backup players handled it for him.
Yeah, flying the same flag. Same difference.
Akatu about to transition here, just waiting for that long bar, and there it is. Slams it down. That is 229,000. Already ahead of Hepta, who is 20 lines ahead at 224,000.
Nice Allure in the chat saying so many good players these days. That's right. In contrast to like previous competitions, everything, the amount of skill sets we've seen variation wise has been nuts. Like some of the moves these players can do and strategies and just overall skill has flown off the charts since we first started this, and it keeps getting better. So you never know who's the next greatest Tetris player out there for Game Boy Tetris, but each year we constantly find out, and everybody seems to be surpassing one after the other every time we advance.
Okay, the standard of play just keeps going up.
Yep. Like
It
I
even
think
feels...
we had our highest score brackets for this one. Like if you got 500k, you were lucky to make it in with this one, in contrast to other years.
Yeah, I feel like even in the past few months, the skill level of this game has gone up so much with the players like Akatu and Hepta pushing each other. And you can see that as well with our Game Boy Tetris League, where it's been all over the place with all the high-level premier matches.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially since these players are prominent in the Tetris League as well, just seeing their competitive play and their styles. Really just all the variation of that. Kind of get a good feel for where they stand in the competitive scene. I wouldn't call this one as opposed to the other underdog stories of the last two World Championships, though, with Mr. Fack and Gunter. We can't really say that about this one because there's such high-profile players and such prominent players on the competitive scene.
No, this is genuinely the best of the best in this.
Yeah. This one, you want to beat the best. You want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
Meanwhile, Hepta is at 159 lines, 368,000 points. Akatu is at 282,000 points, 130 lines.
Yeah, just over a 20 line differential, so got to pick it up on Akatu's side, but shouldn't be a problem for him.
And Akatu crosses the 300,000 point barrier. Now has 316,000 points at 139 lines. Hepta, built for a Tetris, waiting for that bar that will take them across into the 400,000s.
Both players really utilizing that sloping strat with the double well when they need it, and it's working out, getting the Tetris in their favor. Hepta now into the 400Ks, right where he needs to be for that 500K transition goal. But again, really anybody's game once we get into level 20 play. So we haven't had a photo finish today at all, which is really strange compared to the contrast of the preliminaries, where I think we had a couple going into the 300 line cap. So hopefully we'll get that today.
If anyone's going to take it this deep, it's these two.
Oh yeah, no question. You never know, though, with those tricky misdrops. I haven't seen too many mistakes, though, coming out of these two. A lot of players were foiled today by their misdrops, unfortunately. But these two have shown some pretty good consistency across the board.
All right, Hepta 1 line away from 200 lines.
With that
And
Tetris,
there it is.
537 transition. Monster score right now. And the potential has not even started. Another Tetris immediately following on that, 562 to Akatu's 395,000. Got a lot of work ahead of him. But again, we've seen some nuts things from Akatu as well in this competitive play. So let's see if he can pull it off with this one.
Akatu throwing down a Tetris, starting to catch up, still back at level 17.
Yeah, got a lot of room. Now, Akatu is all about those chase downs too, so he might be waiting for a mess up of his opponent.
Bastu is heating up, says Stovecat.
Oh,
I
yeah.
assume that means the sauna.
Definitely heating up. Nice burn strat. Skims it out. Opening up. Lucky long bar there. Z piece over to the right where he needs it. And his well is free for that subsequent Tetris. Leading into 600,000. 627,000. Still 70 lines to go. This could be in 700, 800,000 territory.
Yeah, this could easily be the highest scoring game we've seen so far today.
No question.
Oof.
And again, with that slow pace in the beginning, this is what it all leads up to.
Meanwhile, Akatu, very close to that transition. Better watch that.
Yeah, in the 500Ks as well for his transitional score, which is perfect. That's exactly what he's going to need. But Hepta's really bringing the noise in a bit of a situation right now, but he'll be out of that soon. Ooh, Akatu building up a little bit of garbage as he goes into his level 20 transition.
555 transition. That's pretty solid.
Wallbant in the chat, they're asking about a line cap. It is 300.
Yes. Yep. So we'll be doing a photo finish. But sorry, last one, I hope. But
I'm just about
Probably not.
finished with those puns.
But no, that would be great if we can see that. And it looks like we're going to. If Hepta can keep up this pace here. 700,000, first one of the day, first final game. Let's see where this goes. Now it's getting intense. 40 lines to go on Hepta's side. Still a lot of lines to go on Akatu's side, but he's got a lot of garbage and hole blocks built up over there, so he's going to have to skim that out.
Oh, that long bar for Akatu is so helpful.
No. Those level 20 speeds, like he's a fast player, but it might prove too much, and it does. At 570,000, will give Hepta the point. GG's both players.
Yeah, one does wonder if Akatu is thrown off by using the tap play style, but probably not. You know, he's been practicing on the console and has been, getting max out scores and everything, so...
Hepta capping off with that 739. Absolutely nuts. Highest score of the day thus far. Very intense match.
And the rocket takes off.
There we go.
The Finnish space program.
Hepta just 2 wins away from a world championship. We'll see if Akatu can bring it back there. We've got a thumb there from Akatu. And from Hepta, they can start off the next round in 3, 2, 1.
1.
Tetris!
Tetris!
For the glory of Finland!
Akademu is pointing out that this is midnight for the Finns. You know, if this was another matchup, say one of these players against someone like Blue Scooty, I would suggest that I might bring up the time difference as a potential competitive edge for one player or another. But this is a pretty even playing field in this case.
Yeah, can't get any more even than that. But that is a huge factor. We've seen that before, like with players from Australia or wherever, that it's really super early in the morning, really late at night, and they just power through and hold their own despite that. Like, we have the luxury of playing early afternoon, but they just gut it out and in some cases win championships like that.
Hepta here, not off to a good start, trying to get his well unblocked so he can start scoring here. Already 9 lines in, no Tetrises yet.
DLB in the chat saying, now it comes down to sleep schedules. Whoever doesn't fall asleep first at their Game Boy wins. But thus is the life of the Tetris player.
Both boards looking very nice right now. Set up for a good game going forward. Long bar down for Akatu. One thing I do appreciate about the screens right now is seeing that Game Boy Color screen. Being a Game Boy Color player myself, it's nice seeing the colors I'm used to.
Yeah, I don't think we've had that at all today.
Game Boy Color, of course,
gray.
Slightly inferior to Nels's Game Girl Color.
Yeah.
Oh, that goes without saying. But it's fun to say it anyway.
The palette is just much more flashy and it's just more vibrant.
That piece of masking tape, I feel, really brings the whole thing together.
Makes it pop.
Want to know what they're talking about? Get on our Discord and join the Game Boy Tetris League to compete with all the players in our community who are doing that.
Yeah, we do this throughout the year. We have Discord championships. We had the full league going in the off season, and we do this championship once a year. So thank you very much to CTWC for hosting us again.
Yes, shout out and much love. Ooh, awkward slip from Akatu, starting the tap just a little early. Timing's probably thrown off ever so slightly by being on level 9 after the level 20 play. Scores currently at 53,000 points for Akatu, who's at 29 lines. Hepta is at 76,000 points at 35 lines, so fairly neck and neck here. And Akatu opening up that awkward hole in the board, filling the dependency, almost ready for that Tetris. Just wanting the right pieces. A L piece would be perfect. Gets it right after the long bar. That was the opposite order of pieces from what he wanted.
Does manage to slot in a column 9 Tetris, though. Bringing him up to 68,000 points to Hepta's 101, now 113.
And a long bar would make it a perfect transfer to a standard right well. If the long bar will come. Hepta at 51 lines, 125,000 points. A very good score. And Akatu not too far behind, 92,000 points at 47 lines. That might be 82,000 points. We'll see.
Yeah, it looks like that's 82,000.
Yep, 82.
But we'll put him if he gets to 50 lines with the Tetris, which he will, puts him at 94,000, significantly behind Hepta's pace.
Tetris down for Hepta.
Akatu finally clearing that 100k barrier. Just over 50 lines. Not too bad a pace. Nowhere near compared to Hepta's. Pretty close line differential between them for this one in contrast to other games, though.
Yeah, no one seems to be pushing down. Or not any more than the other player. Akatu's sticking to these right wheel strats.
Akatu really pressing into that chase down strat from before. Worked in his favor, and again, just having that extra time to know what your goal is and then just bringing the noise into level 20. Might not be the most exciting strategy, but it's what works for him. Nice T-spin there.
Yeah, Akatu throwing us a bone with that T-spin. Not too exciting, just playing careful at level 9. Throwing a few spins.
Did a couple flashy moves in there. Doesn't hurt nothing. Very high right sloping from Hepta there. Last second adjustments, but it paid off with that double Tetris banked on the side. As he brings it down. Push him closer to that 200k barrier. Very nice pace right now. Could be better, but that's what he needs to take on Akatu in this stage of the game. Another Tetris for Akatu. Gonna bring him up to 144,000 to Hepta's 187.
Yeah, Akatu still behind on pace there.
Yeah, Hepta virtually at 200,000 points at 80 lines, so that's very solid. Akatu not doing badly either, though. Definitely queued up for that 200,000 minimum. T-Tug set up by Hepta, keeping things Tetris ready. 16 lines to go, that's 4 Tetrises. So could get about a 270-ish transition if all goes perfectly.
With that lamp there like that, it kind of looks like Hepta's performing some kind of a surgery on his side. A little bit of a Tetrisomany.
Well, at the moment, he sure is playing surgically. Does block off as well, just at the wrong time, though.
Ooh. Very good transitional score, though, right now. Won't be enough for Akatu's later play, though.
Doctor, we need to push 2 line pieces stat.
Ooh, I had to block it off once again. Oh, ill-timed long bar. He's got 2 banked at the bottom. Where are they?
Hepta known for making a lot of adjustments, which really makes them a rewarding player to watch.
Works out
And there's
favorite.
the bar.
Nice. Will he get another one?
Unable to get that super high transition score that was in the works, but
He does have
still
one
a
more
very
banked.
solid one.
Yeah, he can get at least one more if he can push it. I don't know if he'll get droughted again. He might have to go for the burn. He's got this nice double well set up to accommodate. Nope, has to take it with the O blocks.
Akatu Tetrising across the 200,000 barrier is now at 93 lines, 205,000 points. Not too far behind.
It looks like it's really going to come down to this level 20 transitional play here once again. If it's anything as nuts as what we saw before, then it's should be a close match.
Still got the mid game to go through, though. As we've seen today, crazy stuff can happen.
Mhm.
You know, even high level players like your Criscas and your Scooties getting these top outs in level 14, 16.
Nice little T-tuck there by Akatu. Needs to burn it down a little bit. Still waiting on that long bar. Does decide to block off as well. That O block, though, of course, will unblock it.
Ooh.
And finally, quite the drought there.
Wow. That Zed burst could have been trouble if he didn't get that. Get in his favor, though, with another long bar for another Tetris coming up. Bringing up his score, catching up 232 to Hepta's 285. Slight line differential between them, about almost 10 lines. Probably going to be as close as last time, but again, it really all depends on that level 20 play. Will we have our photo finish again? Or the first photo finish of the day, rather. I'm looking forward to it. Very surprising that we've got nobody really utilizing that 300 line cap, feeling the pressure of it, but we have got scores in the 700,000s.
Absolutely. There's definitely been some high scores today, but nobody really pushing up there into the high 200s.
No.
Or hitting that 300 line cap, of course.
All these players definitely capable of it, but just that element of competition really got to them. And again, coupled with RNG, dealing with these different play styles. And a lot of risky moves. I found players took a lot of risks, more so than usual. Especially in the championships.
Not as much methodical play as you would expect. And, if your opponent flies too close to the sun and tops out early, you're not going to need to make use of the full 300 line.
Or even the 200 lines in some cases today.
But it is less of an upset than past years. Like, we've had underdog narratives for the past 2 years, and this time you can't really say that.
No, this is definitely a different one. In contrast to that, it seems more like it's mirrored of the NES CTWC matches, where it's literally just top players going toe to toe with their individual strats. There's upsets, but there's no real anticipated upsets. In the finals, we're right where we need to be. Two top level players just duking it out to see who's going to be the best in this final match.
And who is doing the best? Right now, Hepta is at 396,000 points, 155 lines. Akatu a couple levels back, 330,000 points, so very close.
Really respectable pace from both players. Very few mistakes, if any, this whole time. Not too many digs, not too much garbage. It's the exact kind of pro play that you want to see, especially in these finals.
Well, it's a fun double.
We'll see how they handle it as the speeds start getting up there.
And we got Hepta in level 16, Akatu in level 14, so it's definitely approaching fast. We're going to see some intense play really soon with these high-level speeds. With the amount of few mistakes they've been making, we're sure to see some incredible micro adjustments where they need to be.
We'll see if Akatu does transition that well over to a left well soon as the speed increases. Bit of a slide there on that O block from Hepta, but does make use of that S block
Hepta now on level 18, second fastest speed in the game.
Hitting 500,000 as he gets to level 18.
Ooh. And a misdrop, the first one. That long bar. Oh, he didn't use the long bar to correct the mistake on the left-hand side.
That was aggressive.
And that will be the undoing.
Top out. Hepta taking round 2. Hepta, you can top out.
A crazy last-second strategy there of not placing the long bar to clear it out and block and fill the dependency.
You know, the pieces were going so fast, I have to wonder whether Akatu was being intentional with playing that aggressive that high up, or if that was more a case of seeing the Vits and taking it semi-reflexively and just hoping to get the rest of the pieces.
It almost seemed like because he was slightly behind the whole time, he didn't want to fall into that slump into level 20, so he just figured, okay, maybe one more, maybe one more, maybe one more, and then rely on that. But that misdrop really cut him deep on that last one.
MJ saying in the chat, Vits till the end. And it was. We've got a thumbs up there from Akatu.
Hepta, if you're ready, we'll get a thumbs up from you. Just type in there.
And they can start off the next round here in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Hepta on match point here. Akatu gonna need a reverse sweep in order to stay in this.
We've seen so many of those instances today where it's just get that reverse sweep, and nobody's done it. So maybe this will be the one to do it.
No, we've had a fair amount of oh goodness, I am forgetting the word for it right now. Just full sweeps.
Yeah, just sweeps.
Yeah, just the regular sweeps without the reversing.
The old hat trick.
Yeah.
A sweep deal, if you will.
Yeah, just seeing that perfect play in the low levels, and then once that speed gets up, you get that misdrop, and you're not used to it because you've not been misdropping at all, so you haven't had to really correct for that. So your brain is just thinking, okay, perfect pattern, and then you go for that perfect stack, but it's too late.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge as a Tetris player to master both of the pattern recognition and also still having intentional, thought-out maneuvers.
And both players not really pushing down too much, so, dealing with that perfect play on the low speeds for, 5 minutes plus, you get into those high speeds almost instantaneously in the grand scheme of things, and then it just kind of catches you off guard if you get a misdrop or two.
And that's where I think that pushing down actually carries a little bit of an advantage, is that your brain is still working at those higher speeds when you're on the low levels. Whereas I think if you don't push down at all, it brings you to a point where you're so used to that low speed, and then it gets up there pretty quick between 10 and 20, and then all of a sudden your body's not used to it.
Yeah, that's the strat with Euro Kriska and obviously Blue Scooty. And it did work in their favor briefly, but again, those misdrops, even there's a point where you get too cocky with it. It's like, oh, I can handle the speed, no problem. And then you just can't, and you're way too high up. It's technically impossible at that point, even for the fastest of players.
Shuichi in the chat there saying, time to blame RNG. Just kidding. But the RNG in Game Boy Tetris is actually much worse than NES and way more unforgiving.
Yeah, but the thing is with RNG is that when it's RNG's fault, it's also the player's responsibility to be able to handle that. And that's what makes players like Akatu and Hepta able to be at the finals level of the World Championships, is when the RNG gets tough, they get tougher.
I mean, we're all here on a Sunday playing a nearly 40-year-old game and streaming it to the internet. What do we know about responsibility?
A demo game at that. This is, as I've said many times, the Wii Sports of Game Boy. So, one thing to point out, we got former competitor Alex H in the chat asking, what is Hepta's grip? Right now, Hepta is using a mirror setup and a cross grip to play essentially sort of with an NES style stacking, tapping strat rather. Just to accommodate his style.
I'm not sure Hepta is cross-hand tapping. They may be putting the Game Boy upside down and looking at the reflection.
Yeah. So it's a form of cross-hand, but using the mirror to reflect that as opposed to actually crossing your hands.
It's cross Game Boy tapping.
Cross Game Boy via mirrored image tapping is probably the best way to, if there is a best way to put that. Not exactly on our playbook of play styles, but I mean, if it works and it is legal.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. Hepta and Mirror Hepta have the Game Boys upside down, and they play each other's Game Boys.
Yeah, he's not even focused on Akatu right now. Akatu's in the room with him, but he's not even there in his mind, in his psyche.
Akatu is, however, at 44 lines with 90,000 points. Hepta at 46 lines, so only 2 lines ahead. Ooh. With 112,000 points. And now getting a Tetris.
Lucky long bar there. You set up for some trouble with that tuck in the top right. Then that took him out, though. Richard Wolf asking, is Akatu in the room with us right now? Well, if you're Hepta, he is, but also Mirror Hepta. So he's got 2 devils on his shoulder at this point. He's got 2 formidable foes to contend with in his mind.
And a reminder that this is match point, which adds a level of tension to these high level, like these towering stack.
Yeah.
The digs that the players inevitably get into.
Ooh, went for the spin rather than the tuck on that. Very interesting choice from Hepta. Cleared it out.
It's a very good move, though. It left a notch open close to the well, making it more optimal for burns.
Yeah. I've noticed they both really utilize that double well sloping strat that is really big in the NES Tetris community. Get kind of high up on Akatu's board. Burn it out, no problem. Both players utilizing some amazing spins and tucks this whole time. Tetris there for Hepta. That'll bring him up to 167,000. Slight lead over Akatu's 119,000. Akatu waiting on his Tetrises. 2 of them banked.
As you say that, Hepta does get another Tetris, bringing him up to 179,000.
Hepta Tetris ready. Akatu almost there. 3/4 of the way to transition now.
Akatu finally pushing down.
Hepta making some odd decisions there on that stack. Is going to need to burn out that garbage before he can get another Tetris.
Yep. Opts for the tuck. Clears it out very efficiently. Those T-pieces there.
That S-block will get him Tetris ready again.
Nice. With 2 banked, he can really push up his score into that transitional stage. There's the 1. Gonna bump him up almost to the 200k. Banking for another 2, it looks like. With his well beautifully open. Getting his slope ready. Building up the double well strats, it looks like.
Getting some huge droughts here from Hepta.
Yeah.
You can see even in the squares on his board, he's only got 2 that are from a line piece, now 6.
MJ in the chat pointing out this is a relatively new style strat from Hepta with the mirror play, and it's really worked out in his favor. We saw the capabilities that it can do. Not that it'll probably be the norm, I don't think, because it's so crazy, but you never know.
Great adjustment from Hepta on that O block, seeing that the Z was coming next and choosing to move it.
Nice double S tuck there.
And it's all those little tweaks that these players are making that save the extra lines for the extra efficiency that get the pro level scores.
Did not quite get that J piece on top of the other there. Created a little bit of garbage that'll need to be dealt with, but that's far into the future.
Nice donut on the upper right of Hepta's screen.
Akatu approaching the 100 line barrier. Not quite close enough to that 200k mark where he wants to get past. Not much room for it. Gets it up there with this Tetris, but still reasonably far behind, especially with the relatively small line differential between the two. 181,000 Akatu to Hepta's 236k.
And welcome to the graders from Tetris Wars, who will likely be familiar with these players as they've been in the NES scene for a while. This is the grand final. Our final, I don't know if the word grand means anything special, but it's the finals for Game Boy Tetris World Championships.
Yes.
We don't have a loser's bracket, so there is no grand finals. But this is indeed the finals of CTWC Game Boy 2025.
Yes. It's going to be an obvious Finnish victory, as Finland has reigned supreme in this competition. Some upsets with MJ's play from before, but he said he's banked on these two, and he's glad that they're going toe-to-toe for it.
Wobert saying in the chat here, Hepta on the way to a perfect tourney. I don't have verification of that, but I believe that might be right. I don't think Hepta has dropped a single game, has he?
No, I don't think there's a loss in there from what I recall. Which is very rare in these competitions. At least there's one. Like, it's not often, if ever, that we get this kind of sweep. Or multi-sweep, rather, from these players. Save for maybe Scooty in the very first one.
No, Hepta did. Yeah, he 3-0'd Gunter and 3-0'd Euro Kriska. So if he wins this, he will indeed take the tourney completely uncontested.
Wow. Not too many mistakes from Hepta, aside from the occasional ones that he can get out of very easily. He's one of those consistent players, which is, of course, what led Gunter to his first victory. Sometimes that's what it boils down to.
However, what Gunter's lacking that Hepta has is the ability to maintain that consistency on level 20. Akatu, however, no slouch either. High-level player, even on console. Score checks here. Akatu is at almost 250,000 points at 122 lines, and Hepta is at 290,000 points at 140 lines. So both probably in a fairly similar place pace-wise.
Just a quick reminder, these players did get their start on this in our Game Boy Tetris Discord, where we do competitions like this all the time. We have a league, we have monthly tournaments, friendlies tournaments, all sorts of things. So if you're new to the scene, you can too play with these players and get into it if that's the ground that you want to tread later on.
Nice little simul Tetris there, bringing Hepta up to 332,000, Akatu to 281.
Yeah, with just a 20-line differential between them, this is quite a commanding lead, it looks like, for Hepta, especially banking all these Tetrises. Akatu really bringing it back, though, as the speed increases.
Yeah, the pace is about even currently. We'll see what happens as they get towards level 20 there.
Fast approaching on Hepta's side is level 16.
Hepta was about to burn, decides not to. Again, excellent adjustments from Hepta.
Yeah, with the emergence of these faster speeds, you got to make those decisions a lot quicker. And it's really grounds for making misdrops in that territory. Not that he's had many, if any, misdrops so far, but this is where they definitely start to show.
Hepta with 420,000, nearly 100,000 points over Aktu, but Aktu fires back with the Tetris, bringing him to 357. As of course, to Hepta's now 442.
Yeah, this is where they really start to go toe-to-toe. Hepta bringing another Tetris back in the game, 465,000. Akatu, a long way to go, and still almost 30-line differential, so he can do it. But he's really got to bank out those Tetrises now before the level 20. Or he could save it until level 20 and really shine then. Depending how much left he's got in him. Again, it's very late in Finland right now, so he's been playing all day and all night.
Sounds like a wonderful Sunday.
Yeah.
Hepta, a Tetris away from reaching our top level.
And does it with a Tetris, bringing him up to 520,000 at the transition. A very good transitional score.
Awkward board for Akatu, though.
Yeah,
needs to clean this up real fast.
A lot of bad piece sequences came just a moment ago. Clear it out very well, but how long will it last? Makes it work with these S pieces.
Yes, that's what we want to see.
Beautiful opening. Waiting patiently for that long bar. Where is it? Wants to get it in. There's that one. Can he bank for another? He's banked and he gets the other one, pushing him past 400 into 422,000. Hepta gliding through level 20 right now. 214 lines in. Misses the Tetris opportunity there. Has to sacrifice it. But gets this one. That's going to bring him up to 560,000. Akatu really closing that gap. Wants to get as much as possible before that transition to level 20. Fastest speed.
Yeah, it doesn't get any faster. The score doesn't go up. This is how it is for the rest of the game. Game Boy Tetris is a bit of an endurance game, but with the 300-line cap, it's pushing more towards aggression at this stage.
Akatu transitioning to level 20 with 452,000, about 70,000 behind where Hepta was when he transitioned. So he'll have to make up that score with his level 20 play.
And another Tetris for Hepta.
That brings him up to 623,000. This is to Akatu's 517.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Akatu who's held the highest score record for today.
That would actually be Hepta.
Nice spin.
Whoa! That microsecond spin on that S piece.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Possible. Less than 50 lines to go for Hepta. 679k. These micro adjustments. Subhuman right now.
Ooh, Akatu
never seen that bad.
Akatu trying to push to catch up with this.
Hepta pulling out
definitely
the TAS
able to do it,
moves.
but it's going to take some work.
People complaining before it's too slow, and then they see gameplay like this.
Yeah, Hepta's pulling out those TAS only strats here.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you only have an 18 high,
and that misdrop.
Oh no!
He does top out at 715.
Yep.
Akatu
Oh,
gonna
will
need
it be enough?
716 in order to get there.
Still got more than 50 lines to do it. Definitely in the realm of possibility. This is where he kicks it into high gear. And he's going to. Hepta waiting with bated breath, watching. Will he make a mistake? Will there be a bad piece sequence? Will there be a misdrop? Who knows? Or will he just slam it out? 620,000.
100,000 to go. That's
Yep.
4 Tetrises.
He's got less than 50 lines now. So he can't burn forever. He's going to keep his stack low and get that slope going. He's going to go for one more reset.
Definitely
Looks like,
lines to work with, but not too many.
He wants that right side well perfectly clear. He's going to take those Tetrises as they come at this point. Doesn't go for burns.
Bit of a misdrop there, though.
Nope.
And he does top out.
Oh!
628,000. That gives Hepta the win.
Wow.
We have
Congratulations.
a new world champion.
Hepta, the new
Clutch
CTWC Game Boy World Champion.
Slumped in his chair in pure victory right now. He just can't believe it.
Congratulations.
Wow.
And going back to the
Akatu
bracket
for
here.
making the deep run, but it wasn't enough in the end.
Oh, and them shaking hands there.
The pure camaraderie, same room. You don't know whether to high five him or slap him. It's like, how could you do this to me, bro? I thought we were friends.
Going back over to the bracket over here for just a second, you can see Hepta's tournament run here from the quarterfinals.
Wow.
Did not lose a single game the entire
Holy.
time.
That is the play of a champion, truest to the word right there. Hepta, do you want to join us and give us your thoughts on that?
Am I good now?
Yes.
Yes, and there's the champion.
Hello and congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
How's it feel?
Yeah, how are you feeling?
What's your thoughts?
It feels surreal. Like, to be honest, almost more than winning. I really wanted to get this finals, and I'm so happy that we got to play with Akatu in the finals.
Yeah, it was a great match. The two of you got some massive scoring games. An amazing run from you, not losing a single game all day.
Yes.
Thank you. I can't believe I actually did that.
What would you say to anybody who wants to get in the scene to pull something like that off? What advice would you give them? What strategical advice?
I guess practice your stacking and mechanics. I don't know, like work on your fundamentals and then go from there.
Doesn't want to give away too many of his secrets. Doesn't want the rest of the community catching up there. An amazing sweep here today. I'm just astonished by your gameplay today.
And what a way to cap off the accomplishments you've been doing with the recent PBs and the best pace for max out that we've ever seen recorded.
DLB is asking, what do you think made the difference that you were able to increase your consistency that much? I haven't practiced consistency that much other than like a few sessions this week and last week. I think it's just doing nestris.org puzzles has helped me like get better at keeping a burnable stack and still like a good pace stacking, and then just practicing enough last week and really like internalizing that for me surviving is good enough. That has really helped. I just need to
average competition with our community members has helped as well.
I don't think I've played in GBL. The last tourney I played in was the Discord tourney, I believe. But practicing in the voice calls, like with other people, that has been really fun, and I think that has helped me.
Excellent.
Yeah, so definitely always a good time and always a good way to play and practice. And glad to see all the work's been paying off for you.
Well, thank you very much, Hepta. Congratulations again. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we end the stream today?
Don't take Tetris too seriously. Remember that like having fun and living a good life is the most important thing.
Some excellent life advice there from our new world champion here. Thank you again, Hepta, and congratulations. And thanks to everybody who played today and who came and watched the stream. We had some good fun, and I hope that you all have a wonderful night.
Good night!